Why did you decide for this transaction, selling a stake in your fintech unit?
Yeah, thanks for having us on the show. I mean, I think there are two aspects to the strategic partnership that we're looking to build with MasterCard. The first is we have signed definitive agreements on a commercial set of agreements to accelerate payments and remittances across Africa. So we are working with them in terms of issuance, acceptance, and remittance on a multi-year basis across many of the markets that we operate. We're operating in 16 markets offering financial services solutions. So that's, those agreements have been signed. The other is we announced an MOU for a transaction where they would be to take a minority stake. And, the closing conditions of those are still outstanding, but we valued the business, working with them at $5.2 billion.
Yeah, Mr. Mupita, first of all, how much of the business are you actually willing to sell? And does the agreement come with a capital injection?
Yeah, look, I mean, we've said that we are open to selling up to a maximum of 30% of the fintech business. We're not anticipating only one potential strategic partner will be within that 30%. So I think you need to read that there might be, three, maybe even four strategic partners within that. So we haven't disclosed the absolute amount that, MasterCard have been discussing with us. But, once we've concluded the transaction, that will all be made public.
So, but give me a sense of how much, is there a minimum that you want to sell or a maximum that you don't want to sell? Do you have an idea of that?
Yeah, look, I mean, I know that you want some more precision. I mean, all we've simply said is up to 30%. But, obviously a strategic stake, will be something that, one wouldn't see, much smaller than, 4 or 5%. I think that's the minimum we'd like to for any strategic partner coming in. But, the very specific terms around that transaction will only be communicated at closing.
Give me a sense of why, the timing of this is so important. So why bring a partner now?
Yeah, for us, we're trying to grow what we call advanced services. So this is basically bank tech products, payments and e-commerce, as well as remittance. We built a business now with 60 million subscribers across Africa, making us, as a single entity, the largest mobile money business or fintech unit on the African continent. And we've been providing very basic services, cash in, cash out type services. But as more and more of the consumers on the African continent are getting more sophisticated in their financial services needs, we are moving into these areas of remittance, payments, and bank tech. And, we're looking at partnerships to help us accelerate, and the MasterCard partnerships on the commercial side, for remittance and payments is right there.
Is that why Africa seems like such fertile ground for a lot of fintechs? It seems like a lot of the innovation is coming from that continent right now.
No, absolutely. I mean, Africa's, close on to, 1.4 billion people. The bulk of the, people on the African continent have never experienced traditional banking services. And with mobile money and fintech services, you're able to leapfrog people from, not having any financial services to using the phone to provide a lot of financial services, to, everyday Africans out there in countries like Nigeria, Ghana, Uganda, Rwanda. These are the markets that we operate in. So, mobile money has grown, fastest on the African continent across, all emerging markets. So the continent is ripe for growth for fintech services.
The economy is not easy in South Africa and other parts, of course, of Africa because of inflation, because of some of the debt and some of the world concerns that we have on the global economy. How does it feel being the chief executive of MTN in this environment?
Yeah, it's quite challenging. The operating conditions, geopolitically, regulatory, and economically have been quite challenging. Several of the markets we're operating have gone to the IMF for, structural support programs. And so, foreign currency has been quite challenging the last 6 months to be able to secure that in many of the operations, the countries that we operate in. But, we're providing a service that is much needed by consumers and businesses, which is connectivity. And we've seen that continue to grow very strongly in pretty much all our markets. And then also on the fintech side, transaction volumes there have grown like 37%. Transaction value on our fintech platform has grown by 67%. So these are kind of structural demands for services that we are able to offer. But the operating context and environment has been challenging. But it's been challenging, to operate, in this poly-crisis world, pretty much for every business.